What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got something pretty special for you guys today. I'm going to be ranking my top 5 favorite movie fight scenes of all time. But real quick, I would like to thank this video sponsor, DraftKings. But more on that in a second. Now, growing up, especially as a martial artist, movie fight scenes are pretty much life at this point. And still, I love watching and breaking down fight scenes. I will put a VHS tape in, you know, I still got those, rewind it and watch fight scenes over and over and over again. So movie fight scenes, for me, very special. And I could go into like literally all 5 of these picks right now could all be Jackie Chan fight scenes. I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan and I love the guy to death. He's funny, great martial artist, but I want to spice it up a little bit, give you something a little bit different. Some of you guys may have seen this, some of you guys may not have seen these, but let's get into this video. What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? This video is sponsored by DraftKings. DraftKings, the official gaming partner of the UFC, is putting you in the center of the action with a shot at over $1 million in total prizes for UFC 265. So download the DraftKings app now and enter the UFC 265 Daily Fantasy Contest. New users use promo code Wonderboy during signup and get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. UFC 265 has an interim heavyweight championship belt on the line, which features knockout artist Derrick Lewis and striking practitioner Cyril Gane. It's going to be an exciting night of fights, but make your night even more exciting with a little skin in the game with DraftKings. If you don't know how to play fantasy MMA, it's easy. Just draft 6 fighters from Saturday's fight. Each fighter listed has an assigned salary, and a valid lineup must not exceed the salary cap of $50,000. Rack up fantasy points for advances, takedowns, knockdowns, and more. Full rules and scoring can be found at DraftKings.com/MMA. And again, new users use promo code Wonderboy during signup and get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes for UFC 265. Now, let's get back into the video. Now, getting into my 5th pick, number 5. Now, this isn't really like a martial arts film, but there is some martial arts feel to this fight scene. A little cool piece of history on this one. I actually saw this movie in theater with some of my friends literally the day before I was supposed to fight. It was a kickboxing fight. The day before I was supposed to fight, kind of going into this movie watching this movie for motivation. And boy, did it motivated me like no other. It was really cool. I was ready for my fight the next day. And my first pick is number 5, the movie Troy. Now, Brad Pitt plays one of the main characters in this video. Super awesome. I love Brad Pitt, especially in this movie where he fights Hector. Now, it's supposed to be like the Greek top fighter versus Troy's top fighter. There's a lot of really cool stuff in this video, especially the quotes in this video. Like when Hector goes up and says, hey man, let's make a pact. You know, the winner of this gives the loser, I guess the passing on rituals, I guess if you die. And Brad Pitt was like, no, there's no pact between lions and men.
There are no pacts between lions and men.
Super cool quote. I love it. But really cool stuff in here. One of the main things that I like about this, the angle changing that Brad Pitt does, Achilles does in this fight scene. You know, moving off to the side, changing up the angles, circling his opponent. Very similar to how I fight, which is what I think is pretty cool. There's some pretty cool similar techniques that you would throw in MMA, like a Superman punch. Achilles does that, but with a spear in this fight scene, which I thought was pretty special. And of course, closer to the end of this fight scene where Hector actually ends up tripping over a rock, which is where I kind of draw inspiration from too, for whenever I fight people. I'm not gonna let this rock be the determining factor of why I win this fight. You know what I mean? So he lets him back up. That's probably one of the reasons this was kind of like at the top of the list, or ranked number 5. Super cool fight scene. If you haven't seen that movie yet, go check it out. Moving on to number 4, super solid movie, The Protector. Tony Jaa, main character. If you don't know who Tony Jaa is, go watch his films because he literally beats the crap out of his stuntman. He beats the crap out of him. He's like elbowing the dudes, spin hook kicking, back flipping dudes, and really hitting these guys. It's The first time I saw a Tony Jaa movie, I was at awe because these stuntmen in the movies and these flicks were taking some punishment from Tony Jaa. Now, one of my favorite fight scenes of all time is when Tony Jaa is fighting this capoeira guy. The guy in the movie's real name is Lateef Crowder, and he literally is the living embodiment of Eddie from Tekken. So Tony Jaa's facing off against this guy in like a water scene. First time in a while since I've seen Only the Strong where you see capoeira being used in a movie. If you haven't seen Only the Strong yet, we're making go seeing that early 90s flick. Kind of cheesy nowadays, but awesome. I loved it. Awesome capoeira movie. So this guy is using it kind of more in like a real street situation type feel. And the guy's acrobatics in this fight scene is just off the hook. Super cool stuff. He's backflipping. He's like breakdancing, fighting Tony Jaa, kicking him. And he's so fast with it. He's so fast. This guy is literally Eddie from Tekken. And it was cool to see during halfway through this fight scene, Tony Jaa adapt to Lateef Crowder's capoeira and start using his Muay Thai against him. Now, what's even more special about this is the slow motion fight scenes of Lateef Crowder using his capoeira. The water, the effects, the slow motion has a huge part of why I think this is one of my favorite fight scenes. Go check it out. Tony Jaa in the movie The Protector. Super solid. Moving on to number 3 favorite fight scene of all time. Obviously, Jackie Chan, Who Am I? Go check out the movie. Awesome fight scenes in it. Now, this fight scene is really cool because it's Jackie Chan versus 2 guys on top of this skyscraper. One guy is more of a puncher. The other guy is a kicker, sick Taekwondo stylist kicker. And it all starts out as 2 of these guys, they're taking turns on fighting Jackie Chan. So it's the puncher who's going to face off against Jackie Chan first, right? And his buddy's timing it to see how long he can beat Jackie Chan. And in this fight scene, which I thought was pretty cool, was Jackie Chan was using what his opponent was wearing against him. And it's funny because the other bad guy timing it, like he starts taking things off that he feels that, Jackie Chan could use against him. Super funny. So he beats up the guy using the punching first, right? And one part of this fight scene that I will never forget is when he's getting ready to go against this kicker and he throws the jacket from the first bad guy he beat up at the second guy and he catches it with his foot and he brings it up. Like his foot is straight up over his head and takes the jacket off. I'm like, I can't do that. As much as I kick, and as strong as my hips I think they are, and my glutes I think they are, I could never do that. Like I could never do that. That takes some ridiculous strength to be able to take that foot and flexibility straight up over the guy's head. The second fight scene in this was super cool. Has a lot of athleticism, has some really cool timing, sweeps, kicks, spin hook kicks. You see the Taekwondo stylist really use his style against Jackie Chan, which is super solid and really fun to watch. It's comical. And all Jackie Chan's fight scenes are that way. Really cool athleticism along with comedic and funny scenes as well. Go check it out. Who Am I? Jackie Chan. All right, guys, moving on to number 2. One of my all-time favorite movies and trilogies, the Matrix trilogy. Now, I hear they're coming out with another one. We'll see. Neo versus Agent Smith in the subway. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool because this is kind of the first time you see Agent Smith kind of go all out. You see kind of how powerful these agents are, especially Agent Smith going against Neo. Now, the fight scenes are really choreographed, really cool, but what's even cooler about this fight scene is these guys aren't martial artists. Now, Neo, or as I say, Keanu Reeves, is actually a martial artist now, and I think it has to do a lot with making the Matrix trilogy. That's what makes this fight scene so cool, is that it looks like these guys have been doing martial arts their entire life. Agent Smith, Keanu Reeves, aka Neo in this, and they make it look like so easy, right? From what I hear, that these guys at the end of each and every one of these fight scenes, their forearms, their shins are so banged up from them actually hitting each other's forearms in this fight scene is just, they're really hitting each other. They're really blocking, like with all, all out. It starts out by Neo, or equaling out Agent Smith's power level, I guess you could say. And it kind of tells you like Neo is kind of like at that edge of like, I'm doing pretty well. I'm still kind of nervous of fighting this guy. This guy could kill me, to like, I can beat this agent. Like he's starting to believe, as Morpheus says.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
So really cool fight scenes, the dust, the combinations, them busting through walls, punching through walls, the double kicks, using side kicks, which is what I love about this fight scene as well. Side kick is one of my all-time favorite techniques. And one of my favorite ones is when he breaks Agent Smith's glasses. It gets serious from then on out. So that's probably one of my favorite fight scenes in all of the Matrix trilogy. Go check him out if you haven't seen that, guys, yet. Neo versus Agent Smith. So before we get into my number one pick, I'm going to give you some honorable mentions. Number one, Ip Man with Donnie Yen. Super cool fight scenes. I believe there are like several movies. There's one of the fourth movie, I think it was, where he fights Mike Tyson. But really cool, solid, old school fight scenes. Go check that one out too. Number two in my honorable mentions will be Drunken Master, one of my all-time favorite movies with Jackie Chan. I told you guys that I have a lot of Jackie Chan flicks that I like. But at the very end fight scene, there's like a slew, pretty much like a 10-minute fight scene he has with this crazy kicker guy. Actually, it's a combination of people, but he uses the alcohol or whatever to, I guess, numb his body. He can take shots, and it just takes him up to another level. Super cool fight scene. And of course, number three in my honorable mentions, Gorgeous, another Jackie Chan movie. End fight scene, bad guy, very honorable fight scene. Fights a smaller guy, but the guy he fights is just ridiculous. Super cool athleticism, breakdancing, they're doing all kinds of stuff. And Jackie Chan smiling the entire time, kind of like myself. I walk out to the octagon with a smile on my face. It reminds me of myself, which is why I like it. Now, getting into my number one pick of all time. But before we get into that, remember guys, hit that subscribe button, throw some comments down below, and please like the video. Let's get into it. Number one, John Wick, the very first movie. There are 3 movies out. I hear they're going to make a 4th movie. They got to make a 4th movie. But John Wick is in his own home. Now, what I like about John Wick in this fight scene is that you're getting not just martial arts fight scenes. You're getting gunfighting, high-level gunfighting. This guy did so much training during the John Wick films, it was ridiculous. Knife fighting. He actually worked with my brother-in-law's brother, Higan Machado. He worked with the Machado brothers. And you're getting everything. You're getting gunfights. You're getting wrestling. You're getting judo throws. You're getting jiu-jitsu. John Wick and Keanu Reeves is just pulling out all the works for these movies. I remember he takes one guy and he does a hip throw, a shoulder throw. He's doing jiu-jitsu moves, kimuras. He's doing like go-go platas. I mean, he's doing all kinds of really cool stuff in this fight scene. And it only gets better. It only gets better in these John Wick movies. I mean, from the first movie to the second to the third film where you got, these attack dogs that Halle Berry is throwing out there. She's like an assassin too. And the whole mythology around John Wick and the whole Assassin's Creed and the coins they use. They have hotels, the Continental, and the rules that they have set up. It's just so freaking cool. So I love the whole mythology about the John Wick films. I recommend them, guys. Go check them out. My all-time favorite, number one, John Wick. Super solid. There you have it, guys. My top favorite martial arts movie fight scenes of all time. Hope you like the content. Hit that subscribe button and catch y'all later. Peace.